Hello there and welcome back. Today we talk about the gift that keeps giving, the Oxi One sequencer. They just released Firmware 4. During this past few years, I've been an endorser and a supporter of this tool. I thought they couldn't had anything else, but they did. And this new firmware brings a lot of small improvement and 5 things that I think are pretty great, plus a new sequencer engine called Matriceal. I won't cover the Matriceal here because that would take a long time. There's a nice video that Oxi did and also my friend Liam, so go check that out. But today we will talk about just the things that I know that I'm gonna use a lot. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. But I lied. Just let me tell you a few ways you can support the page. First, you can hit the like button and subscribe. Then you can become a Patreon. Patreon, you will find tons of exclusive content. And if you consider to buy a beautiful Oxi One, please use the link down below in the description because you will get 5% discount. I will get a tiny percentage, and so it's a win-win situation. So let me now get into the juicy part. Let me give you my five new reasons why this thing is so amazing, and then we will dig into them. So number one, there's a new possibility called the external mod matrix. Means that you can use now any MIDI, even USB MIDI controller or CV modulation through the Oxi, and Oxi would forward out MIDI CC. What you were seeing before, I was using the planner, sending out CV information through the Oxi pipe into the Oxi, and then the Oxi would send this information to the filter of the Novation peak. Pretty amazing. Then number two, there's a new way to copy and paste single step, which is pretty great to lay down new ideas and variation. Super fun. Then the instrument definition. Whenever you load a new track, you can load a pre-made MIDI mapping, and there's for many synth. Right now I'm using the one for the Novation Peak, but there's most of the commercial synth, and the list is growing. Huge time saver. Then piano roll has been added to the multitrack mode. That means that now you could have a 32 track, because it's 8 track per 8 sequencer per track. So yeah, and each one will have its own piano roll. At the same time, they added the velocity and gate page for each track, which is pretty convenient and easy to use. And then the last things, there's this loop thing. So basically now with init and n, you can loop a section of your sequence and change the how fast it goes, change the step, and then go back. It's a super fun way to perform live. Okay, these are the things we are gonna talk about. One last thing, they change the screen. They had a transport bar here, you can see, which is pretty handy to know where you at your sequence. So there's many other things. Go check their website to know more. Let's start with the instrument definition. How does it work? Let's load an empty pattern, right? So let's just get a few empty pattern here. So I would pick track 1, usually set my scale right away, and then if you press with shift, you have sequencer setup, 3 pages now. So first page you set the MIDI, the mode, blah blah blah. But in page 3, you have instrument. And here you can go through the list. And now I set up pick. For example, there are OB6, there's Nymphes, which the demo come next week. And blah, 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 so many things, OPZ, yeah. Let's just grab the pick, because that's what we're gonna use. And by the way, I'm not using this enough, because it sounds so good sometimes. This was propedeutic for what I want to do now, because with the instrument definition, all the MIDI mapping already done, it's going to be a breeze to set up external controller to do crazy stuff. So let's put down a sequence. Something like that. Now, let's say we want to control our filter with an external controller. Now you would say, why would you do it with the pick? You have it in front of you. Yes, but this is very handy when you are controlling something that it's in your computer, like a VST, or some synth that doesn't have hands-on control. Say, for example, a Nord micromodular or a Nord drum. So I could set up all the planar and my 16N to control all their parameters, as long as they're MIDI CC controllable. So what you do, you double press mod, and now you see CV in and 16 number. CV in, of course, is translate the CV input and send it out. I'm using the Oxi pipe here, sending CV through that, and from the Oxi pipe into the Oxi. So I press that, I decide the destination. So I press the destination. Since we load the instrument definition, all the MIDI possibility are there. So let's find our filter frequency, 29. I press that, then I set the amount of it. I put maximum, and now, as I move this, here it is. I am sending CV through the Oxi into the Novation peak. Pretty amazing. Now, let's say I want to use the 16N to change the amp envelope. So let's go again. I forgot to mention the mod CV in. You have two destinations, two outside destinations if you want. So right now I'm doing the filter, but for example, I can go in CC destination 2, and let's pick, for example, the noise again. Let's find it. Mixer noise, here it is. We set the amount, let's not put it to the maximum, like 46. Not enough, so let's put more. And now with one movement, I'm controlling both the frequency and the noise. What I like to do with the planar is pressing rec. And now I have something that organically moves. Let's now at the same time press mod again and select number 1. Type CC. Let's say I want to use this slider. I go to learn, so automatically Oxi learn this MIDI control. So tac, you recognize channel 1 CC47. Here it is. Now I can decide that this can be forwarded to anything in the Novation. Let's see. Let's forward to the amp. Let's find it, here it is. Amp release. Brilliant. We can set another one. Also in this case, we have the possibility to also send the same control to something that is internal to the Oxi. But I don't want to do that. I want to use another one, for example, the second one. And now we map again, learn this guy, 46, assigned, and now we send to an internal destination. Could be pitch, for example. And we can set the amount a little less. Pretty cool. So let's say it's enough for that, and let's move now to what I would do in this case. First, we can go in the page, and now if you press velocity, you have the velocity page. So you can set the velocity, and then you can select your gate also. With all of these, keep adding your sequence that was pretty basic, start getting somewhere interesting. Let's also work a little with the modulation. For example, let's use modulation lane 1 to send information to the reverb level. Or it is. Let's turn it on, and now let's create. Super cool. What I like to do is decouple the length of the mod lane to the one of the sequencer. So I press end, and now this will create a ever-changing delay mix. So now let's go into the loop part. Actually, no, let's go first in the copy and paste. So now you can press the copy button, which is this guy here, and while it's pressed, you can select any amount of step, 3 right now. And now I can decide to paste them anywhere. The step will keep their relative distance, but you can transpose them. So say now I press the paste button and I press it here. Super cool. And then you can, for example, shift and duplicate pattern, and here you can paste again because it's still in the memory. Now, let's cover the loop. Let's go back on page 1. Let's limit ourselves to 16 steps. Now I press init and end, and now I can loop any part. Once you loop something, you have the chance to double the length or shorten. And then you can also change the rate. And then you can go out of it. Now let's create something using the multitrack. So let's again select an empty pattern, and now let's see what happens. Let's set up as a multitrack. Now what you usually do with the multitrack was this, was setting down your tricks and then rotate. This is similar to my technique on the technique I use on the Octatrack, which is fine. Sometimes I love do that. But now you select your track and then you press this octave button and boom, you have your piano roll. So now you can see the notes in your piano roll, you can change them, and you can also add more. Conveniently, you can go back to that, collapse everything, and now you can have velocity and gate. Working with the gate is pretty cool because it creates a lot of variation. Again, now we can decide to add modulation and go back to where we were before. A simple way to have fun here, it's setting up some simple chord going on, and then in the mod lane, you create, here it is, all different things. Here I'm automating, I had a patch going on, maybe this one. Here it is. So with this patch I'm modulating the volume of the tree oscillator. And then also the filter. This could be a cool idea for just setting up chords and then creating variation through the use of the mod lane and gate and velocity. It's really a way to make your sequence alive. All right, this is all for today. Thanks to the guys at Oxi for keep making these sequences better and better. I know that they are working a lot. They are so on spot for everything. For example, I asked the modification for a show that I have to do in a couple of weeks, actually not next week. Actually, I have to prepare myself. And I wanted to have the BPM stay changing when I change project instead of stay the same, which is a feature that they decided to have to keep a balance on BPM when you change, but now he is changing it for me so I can have the possibility to choose BPM on or BPM off when I change the pattern. So this is for just to say it's amazing to work with companies that really listen to their customer. Thanks, Manuel. All right, again, that's about it. I'll see you next week. Ciao.